Okay, Ferris 5000 with a bit of a difference. I've wanted to have a bit of a play with one of these for a while. Not so much the Ferris 5000, but the little CB40 module that are made here in Australia. And I have no idea how to use it just yet, so let's have a look. Well, you know what? I do like the fact that it's got a click, click, click type feel to it. That your rotary encoder style is, that feels quite good. Some I've seen previous to this particular one have got a, how can I put it, almost like a momentary left-right, sort of, and that still works, but I like this better. Very nice, actually. That's not bad. Now, from memory, let's go back up here. I think from memory there's like a scan mode if you push scan level 38. Okay. Now, I don't know if that's no, it doesn't stop on signal, although we haven't got a lot of signal going into that. Well, next time we go past that, we'll make sure there's a fair bit of signal there. And we've got to wait just for it to jump around. Now, obviously I can only show this on dummy load. Now, it does stop on signal, but as you can see, we went for a few seconds and gives you a choice whether you want to stay there or not. That's just getting an unfortunate birdie, just what we cop there, because I'm putting a lot of signal into this. So let's just see, should stop on 35. Let's have a look. There we go. Right, okay, so hit it again and it can stay there and operate and do what it's meant to do. Okay, let's get rid of that awful noise. Hard to believe this screen's giving me so much trouble. Anyway, these things happen, don't they? It's better than what it was. I turned it off for a few days and thought, anyway. It is a CRT. They do have a lifespan, and I'm just reaching the end of mine. Okay, so, I mean, probably there's not a lot to show you in some respects on this, because it is just another way of turning channels, selecting channels, and better check it talks a bit. 1 2 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 1 2 1 2. Oh yeah, could use a bit of a tune. 1 2 1 2. Got about 5 watts output there. 1 2 1 2. Oh no, we're on a 100 watt slug. Oh hang on, sorry, no, we're not. We're on the 100 watt slug. No, it's got about like 8 watt, about 8 watts. I'm on the PEP meter there. About 8 watts, no big deal. Easy enough to tune on these things, and that's the thing. They very easy to whip up a bit, but yeah, actually, I don't mind it. It's nice and fluent. It's better than some of the ones I've seen before. And look, I may be calling this the wrong thing too. I think it's called a CB40. I believe it's one of Bill's mates. This radio came from Bill's, a good mate of mine over in New South Wales, and one of his mates does the design for these things. And whilst I was a little bit curious to just see, how they go together. I suppose the key thing would be to have a look at how they go together. So it's nice to show you that it works and the radio works and all that, but let's have a look. I'll pull a couple of screws out. I'd be very curious, because this looks like a really neat finish. I like the way this has gone together, because it's not looking like it's butchered the radio at all. And if you couldn't get a 40 switch for this, which of course I've got a few switches here for different things, but if you couldn't get a 40 switch, this is a nice alternative. I believe the CB40 can be restricted to 40 channels, etc. ACMA. Where do they fit on with this one? If you had this restricted to 40 channels, I suppose it's broken type approval on the fact that it's not the same channels which it was approved with, but oh come on, they can't really be that. No, I don't think that'd be, but yeah, certainly this here's a problem. Like with ACMA, they're not going to like that too much, but we're just on dummy load today, so we're not excuse me, doing anything too illegal. Anyway, let's have a look inside, just see what the board looks like, because this is the first time I've seen one, so you can sort of take the journey with me. Now I've just got the radio off for the moment, just while I've got this speaker hanging out, but this is quite neat in the fact that they've used the existing speaker tray just to basically put their little board onto. That's the little CB40 board, I suppose. I'm trying to, yep, there it is, CB40, does say that down there. just wanted to make sure I was identifying that correctly. But yep, CB40. This is a really neat, easy installation. Well, when I say easy, it's only been made easy that someone's taken the time to do this in a very clever fashion, actually. I'm just really very impressed with this. The choice of rotary encoder, the way this all just goes together, and I imagine, getting the shaft length right, etc., etc. There's a little bit of thinking to get this right, but first thing I did, I accidentally pulled off one of the leads, and luckily that's why we turn radios off when we're. But yeah, that's a neat little board. I'm quite impressed. Now, I haven't got any documentation, unfortunately, and don't get me wrong, I could have asked Bill for it. I just forgot to. But I'm wondering whether some of these switches here, do bring it back to being just a 40-channel CB radio, which still borderline on how ACMA view anything, but I would have to think, you're not exactly going to get yourself in a lot of trouble with it in that fashion. Personally, I think it's a whole lot of anyway. It doesn't matter what I think. The law's the law, I suppose. Anyway, okay. Well, let's put that back together. Now, I was just having a look at the power output on this, and I can see what someone's tried to do. Sometimes you've got to make choices when you're trying to broadband across the scope of a whole 1 megahertz range, and I was just having a little play. Look, I've got the power up another couple of watts across the whole band, and that's lovely. But no real interest in making this thing a super duper. You're only going to get so much out of a 2SC 1306, 1307, or 1969 and 2166 in the rear there. And my opinion is always, I don't struggle to go crazy running too much out of them, because honestly, for what you're gaining, go grab a little amp or something. Did I say that? Not for this radio, of course. For 10 meters, of course. Anyway, but yeah, look, that sort of makes a lot more sense. But yeah, overall, this is a really impressive little design. I'm quite impressed. I didn't expect not to be honest. This even the work over here is quite neat, and it is been done really well. I'm not sure if Bill did this one, or this was one of the chap that did the CB40s. I didn't really inquire, but whoever did, no, it's quite neat, and really impressed with the workmanship. It's because if you're short of getting a 40-channel switch, one of these, it certainly is nice to be able to have something in there that can get you past your 18 channels, versus 3 switches drilled in the back of the things, which drives you mental. These are a great idea, and I was talking to Bill about this. There's apparently a design possibly being worked on right now. I don't want to promise too much, but from what I understand, may be able to even adapt to your crystal high gain 5s, Cracos, etc. So that'll be interesting. And when you think about it, I can't see why not. I mean, it certainly is just a matter of there'd be a little bit more intricacy to it, because what this is here is still, from what I can see, is still a controller on that unit and 858. So of course, when you go to a crystal radio, you've got to start thinking about just how you're going to do your expansion and how you're going to keep it all stable, and there's a lot of things to be thought of there. But yeah, okay. Anyway, look, I can't put this one on air because of the legalities of the unfortunate. It's I'd feel confident though if this was the 40-channel version, and I'm going to feel like a nut if all I had to do was knock a switch on the board there to take it back to just being 40-channel version, so we could have got it on air. But that's okay. Certainly, it's looking like a nice radio. 1-2. That was a bit noisy, but my analyzer's on the other frequency at the moment. That's clever. Anyway, look, nice radio. Obviously the Ferris 5000, but as I said, if you can't get a switch for one, then I think this is a really neat way of getting the radio, especially the way this channel switch, it feels like, obviously it's not as clicky, click, like and it's a rotary encoder, so you know you're not going to feel quite the same as a channel switch. It's not as firm, but honestly, compared to see the ones that go left and right, they're basically not a rotary encoder. They're just going momentary switch that way, momentary switch that way. Where this is a lot nicer than some of the ones I've seen. So yeah, hat goes off to the designer. Bill did tell me. I'm sorry. I should have prepared for this a little better. This is a bit of an ad hoc thing. It's been sitting on the one of the benches for a few weeks, and I meant to pull it out and have a bit of a play just for the heck of it. And I've got a few radios in that list at the moment, but we'll get to them over time. Anyway, big thumbs up to the CB40. I like it. It's really quite a great little unit, and the fitting job on this, 100%. Love the work that someone's done there. It really is very clean. So Bill, if that's you, well done, mate. That's extremely good. Very, very clean. All right, 73s from VK3 Charlie Mike, Tangambalanga, North East Victoria. If you could hit that subscribe button, and thank you for so many that have been, and the like button, all those buttons. Just hit buttons everywhere. Hit the dislike button, hit any button. Apparently the buttons work better for me. Anyway, cheers guys, all the best.